My mom forced me to call her new boyfriend Dad, but he just stood watching me sleep in the dark until I uncovered the truth they tried to hide. My name is Emma, and I used to think nothing could be worse than watching the police put handcuffs on my father right in front of me. He was charged with manslaughter. One night at a bar, he went to the restroom and minutes later came out with blood on his shirt and panic on his face. He shouted for help, but the cops didn't ask a single question. They cuffed him like they were waiting for it to happen. They dragged him away, and the next time I saw him, it was through a glass wall in prison. My dad wasn't the kind of man who got angry. He was gentle, calm, never raised his voice. I didn't understand what had happened, but what chilled me more was how my mother reacted. Less than a week later, Vince, a complete stranger, moved into our house. "This is your new dad," my mom said, flat and emotionless. "Your old one was a monster." She told me to cut off contact with my father like he was some kind of disease. 5 months later, she insisted I start calling Vince Daddy. I was 13, but I wasn't stupid. I could see it. Vince didn't act like a father. He stared at me, constantly. At dinner, his eyes never left me. "She's growing up fast," he said, smirking. "Almost a beautiful young woman now." My mom took it as affection. I felt sick. I told her Vince made me uncomfortable. She scoffed. "Stop imagining things." But that night, after she went to sleep, Vince crept into my room. He grabbed my wrist and whispered in my ear, "You know what happens to snitches, right?" I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I froze. And I knew. I was on my own. From that night on, I barely slept. Every creak in the hallway made me hold my breath. Vince was always lurking, and my mom, Dana, ignored it all. "He's just learning how to be a father," she said. A father? Then what were the bruises on my wrist? I didn't trust her anymore, but I still had my dad. I started writing him secret letters, hiding them in books, asking my best friend to mail them. He couldn't write back on paper, but he emailed me from the prison system every week. Our messages were my lifeline, our secret thread holding me above the edge. Then one day, I came home to find my school report changed. My name wasn't Emma Sanders anymore. It was Emma Carlton, Vince's last name. Mom beamed. "You'll thank me one day." That night, Vince came into my room without knocking. Sat on my bed, put his hand on my thigh. "You should feel lucky to have a dad who cares this much," he said. I shoved him off and locked myself in the bathroom. I told everything to my father in a letter. A week later, I got his first handwritten reply. The ink was smeared. He'd been crying. I kept that letter under my pillow like a charm. But even magic couldn't save me. My mom found my hidden letters. She burned them in the backyard. I watched the smoke rise like my father's soul vanishing from my life. "That's what you get for connecting with a murderer," she said coldly. Then she unscrewed my bedroom door. "If you don't understand boundaries, you don't need privacy." That night, Vince stood in my doorway. He didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, watching. And I knew. If I didn't do something, one day he wouldn't just be standing. Full story on the channel, link below.